It goes live so fast now.
It's true. Oh, let me pull it up. It didn't pull it up on mine last time, so I'll have to
Oh, yeah.
double check it. Let's see.
Yeah, we're up.
Okay, good. Oh, see. It's not telling me still. I don't know why.
We'll do a little music. Just for the hell of it. Fade in, Chris. Fade in, Charlie. Fade out music. And we're rolling. We're rolling. So Chaz, you just heard of it yesterday. Wow. You know, it's
Yeah.
funny. I learned this morning that while it's a cop-free zone, the city brought in porta potties. They're giving them like garbage service, certain essential services. And you know what I likened it to? Playing house. They're playing house.
Yeah, there's okay, you can have food and groceries and stuff, and we'll clean up your mess. Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like.
The thing I wonder, I don't know Seattle very well.
Oh, I love it. I don't know it very well.
Do you
but
know that
I love
area?
Seattle.
It seems kind of like the.
Yeah, Capitol Hill is right where my sister used to live, so I visited her there.
So there's people in apartments who got to go through that shit to get to their homes.
Yeah.
Apartments, condos. So when people begin to shit in the street, which they will, because apparently homeless are now attracted to it, because there's people setting up like those food,
Yeah.
food carts and food trucks and all that.
And shit like that. Yeah.
It's going to devolve, and God forbid, well, there's going to be a fight. There's going to be a fire. And, depending upon how bad the fight is, and if time goes on long enough, somebody's going to get raped. Because shit
If
just
not
devolves.
already having happened. Yeah.
And then what?
That warlord Roz is gonna crack some skulls. No, he's not.
Yeah,
there
and
to
then we're
provide
gonna
safety.
see. Then we're gonna see
Yeah.
what really happens. And this whole thing is just a fucked up social experiment.
Yeah, it's gonna be in psychology books for a long time, I'm sure, or sociology books for a while. Like
Yeah.
stuff like that will appear from like real life, where it's not like we did this in a lab, but it's like the whatever. Do an analysis of that,
And
those are
then
great. Those are fun to learn about.
is fucking coincidence or fate or whatever would have it, a cop shoots a fucking guy in the back Friday night. What the hell?
I didn't see that either.
Yeah,
Where was
there was
that?
a guy. He was probably drunk, because I actually experienced this once when I was in a Taco Bell line late at night. A guy fell asleep in a fast food order line.
Yeah.
So all these cars are backed up. So they called the police, and they're not showing all the footage, of course. So they showed a cop cam, and everything. They were talking to this guy. They were on each side of him, and they were like gently bringing the guy's arms behind his back, and then he just went. He lost it and resisted. And they were on him, and so two cops could not restrain this guy.
Yeah.
And I'll back up and give my version of how it should have gone. But anyway, struggle ensues. He gets a hold of a taser. Cops chasing him with the taser. He's turned around, pointing the taser at the cop. Then the cop says, "Fuck it." And the guy's running away from him. He's 20 feet in front of him. Pulls his gun and fucking shoots him dead. Shoots him in the back.
Just one shot.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But so
Yeah.
the guy's dead because he fell asleep in his car. Shot in the back.
Well, yeah.
But shot in the back.
Yeah.
So
That's no bueno.
that's no bueno. And to protect and serve. I'd be curious to see how they handled it, but I don't know how it would have gone when you were in high school. But if that had happened when I was in high school, and maybe this is a suburban thing, I don't know, but they would have been like, we're driving you home. Park your car. You're going home, and we'll take you home.
That was you lived in a different era. I knew guys who got DUIs for shit like that. So
yeah. So different time, but fucking whatever.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back to
Where was
Chaz. It was in Atlanta,
Oh, great.
and of course they burned it was at a Wendy's. Of course they burned it down that
They
night.
burned the Wendy's down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
or maybe the following night.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
this is just
Chaz.
Chaz. Huh.
Lainey
Yeah.
lives near there. Not in there. She used to live in it, right? But now she's since moved away. But she thought it'd be funny if my sister, by the way, she went and established some kind of like a new Chaz within Chaz. So part of the thing is there's this area. It's like a fountain park, whatever, very small. Maybe an acre tops. I think maybe an acre tops. And it's like there's a fountain, some hilly kind of zones. It's like a dog park, and like there's a hill in the area, and that's kind of like the center of Chaz. So she was like, "What if you just take a flag and some barricades, and like take a 10 by 10 area and just be like, plant a flag. This is new Chaz now, and it's inside of Chaz.
Chaz Prime.
That'd be funny. Chaz Prime, Chaz Prime. Yeah, that'd be funny. Or she thought that'd be funny.
It would be
And
funny.
I was like,
Charge
you
admission.
go in there, you're gonna get, set up a lawn chair, and just slowly expand your boundaries.
What, you guys don't practice what you preach? I'm my own zone.
Yeah, right.
Autonomy within
This
autonomy.
is new Chaz. Yeah, it's an autonomous squared zone. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know how long this is gonna last. I'm sure it's probably devolved to a certain point as is. I mean, while we're speaking, we'll see how that turns out.
I don't know. It's been there a while. It's been a few days.
Like a week, probably, right? Or less
You
than a
know,
week.
you know what's interesting, and maybe this is me being presumptuous. So there's all these tents, and they're not like they're not old canvas tents. They're not tents in disrepair that are frayed and falling apart. You know what they are?
They're like
they're
nice
fucking
tents.
yeah. They're white rich kid tents.
I was gonna say somebody bought it to leave from their regular apartment just to go live in Chaz for it.
I mean, they're like nice
"I'm moving to
REI,
Chaz."
you know,
I was gonna
tents.
say REI. Yeah, that's what's big out there. And it's funny is you could even buy a tent from REI, and you have a year where you can be like, fuck it, I didn't really like it. You can just return it, and there's no questions asked. That's what's great about REI. But
So REI is going to be in a week or two. People are going to be bringing back tents with like shit all over them, and
it's gonna be like, is this a Chaz tent? This is spray painted on the side. I don't know if that's
Right.
Yeah, we're not accepting Chaz tents.
so
Yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah, and that rapper guy's in there, and apparently is I don't know much about it. These are all presumptions, but apparently is has some sort of leadership role.
They said shaking people down for cash for protection.
Seriously?
Which I thought was funny. Yeah, and businesses too.
So it's already lawless. It's already well, not law. It's already crime ridden, I guess, is what you'd call it.
That's, well, I mean, what do you call it? I don't know. That's not blackmail. That's
Extortion.
just coercion. That's just extortion. I don't even know. That's just force. You're just stealing. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's funny. Protection from what? One of the other stupid white kids who thought this was a good idea? Yeah. I don't know.
No, protection from me. It's like the mafia.
Well, that's the point. So if he was being serious about it, it would be like, I'm providing you protection from, but it's like, no, I'm the one that you need to be worried about, which is the whole,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, crazy. But
yeah,
fucking Friday night, a cop shoots a guy in the back. Why'd he shoot a guy in the back? What
at least
the
it wasn't
fuck?
in Chaz. Would have gotten torn apart. Yeah, what are you doing as a cop right now? You should be like, we're only shooting rubbers. Like that's all we're doing.
But even so, he had three choices. Continue to chase him, right, and try to tackle him.
You have his car. You have his license, registration,
Yeah.
everything.
Well, yeah, continue to chase him, let him go, or kill him.
Pick him up. Yeah.
And the guy, right, or shoot, right, shoot to subdue.
Yeah.
And the guy chose shoot. Really, man? Fucking really?
Yeah.
I think one thing that is definitely surfacing through all this is cops are not, they're not trained or they're not the right guys for the job.
Rocket scientists. Yeah. Yeah.
If you can't manage, if you're a sociopath and you're going to choke a guy out, get the fucker off the force, right? That guy, whatever those 12 violations were, that guy had no place being there. And we talked about this, and a lot.
Yeah.
Seems like it's a home for the bullied, but it's also a home for people who returned from the military, and those guys are trained, and those are the guys who do it right, and never the good news is never news.
Yeah.
You know what I learned? Guess how many, and it's not 5 billion, guess how many police encounters there are. So where a cop approaches a civilian and says, hey, what's up? May or may not turn into an arrest, just encounters annually.
You said it's not 5 billion. Okay, so.
It's not 5 billion. This is a tough one. I was surprised.
This is hard. And in the whole United States annually?
Yeah, U.S. annually.
I would like really, really, really want to say anywhere from 7 to 13 million, but I also feel like that's a high number. How many is it?
Okay, if you average your range, you're fucking spot on. 10 million.
10 million, yeah. 10 million. There you go.
10
Always
million.
been good at that.
So there's 10 million encounters. 1,000 deaths. And a handful of unarmed deaths.
So 10 million encounters. They're not doing a terrible job, I guess, in terms of how many times you talk to somebody versus how many times you talk to someone and they die. But
Well, 1 in 10,000.
that's not the goal, right?
It's 1 in
Yeah. Oh, it's
10,000
1 in
chance
10,000.
you're going to die. But
That's so sad.
but 99% of those are armed.
Are armed. Yeah.
So
So and then what percentage of that is justified, right? But yeah.
right. I mean, some of the unarmed are could be justifiable, which
And
isn't
vice
this is not a popular thing to hear. But hey, if somebody points a gun at you, you do that. That's a recipe for death. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I did. So hopefully this has been clear, but preface it by saying, the Douglas Floyd thing, this guy on Friday,
George.
Freddie Gray, all these ones that are just like horrifically out of bounds and wrong and subhuman. I pulled up CDC statistics, and I think I've brought these up before. And this is updated. This is as of 2018. So, in manufacturing and in business, when you have a fucked up process, one of the things you do is called a Pareto analysis. And all you do is you list your problems from biggest, just descending, biggest to smallest, right? And I think that, was it you? I said, have you heard of the 80-20 rule when we talked on the phone the other
80-20
day?
rule, we talked about
Yeah,
that
so
last.
Pareto's some economist or statistician from France or Italy, whatever, from way back when. And so you Pareto, it's like misused as a noun and a verb and whatever. But anyway, so you do a Pareto analysis, and so you just list your problems. And again, all these occurrences are just horrible and wrong. And I think I've kind of changed my mind. The police forces, they need better people and better training, especially this. When I saw on Friday, these guys were just not prepared for a confrontation. When a guy's running away from you and your reaction is to shoot at him at his backside, that's fucked up, man. You've lost control of yourself. Right? And
My dad used to say that's you play too many video games. That's what that is. You're too much of a
or not
player.
enough.
Or yeah, good point. Yeah.
Right?
Like, oh,
I
it
mean,
seems like you
video games emulate reality. So you play a video game, you shoot a guy in the back, and your boss says, dude, you're off the street, or you're not ready for the street.
What's funny is there's no game out there that exists like that yet. So, but yeah, I see what you're saying. You could have simulation, right?
Well, there are
Yeah.
simulations, like real simulations, where you go in fake rooms and there's dummies and sometimes there's people, and you have to make decisions. And like if you shoot somebody, shoot somebody who shouldn't be shot. Remember Men in Black?
Where he shoots the little girl, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. The
He
guys
says,
are shooting all the
this
monsters.
guy's just doing some pull-ups. Yeah, this guy's just
This guy's just
got a runny
hanging
nose.
around.
Yeah. Yeah. But what
And
is
she's
she
clearly
doing?
out of place.
A 5-year-old girl with an astrophysics book. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
That's
up to
funny.
some shit or whatever he said. Anyway,
Yeah.
that was an interesting scene.
That's a great scene. Yeah.
But that's kind of, kind of true to life. You got to look around. You got to make decisions. You got to fucking exercise restraint. Don't shoot a guy in the back. What the fuck? And try not to shoot a guy at all. Right?
Yeah,
That's the
ever.
last resort. And instead of unloading your whole fucking clip in somebody's chest, can't you shoot him in the leg?
Well, see, there's an argument to that, but it's also in the moment. That's hard to. That's like
I
hard to.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
The thing is, more training. Yeah, we need a better quality cop out there. Right? This whole defund the police thing is fucking insane. You do that, it's just license to fucking
Commit crimes.
commit crimes.
Where
you do
was
that,
the,
man. It's wild, wild west.
Where was the? It was Minneapolis, right? Where they said we vow to defund the police force or whatever, disband, and they don't have a veto. I don't know.
AOC got interviewed on this. She's such a fucking idiot. She said, well, do you really want to defund the police? And she wouldn't answer it. She's turned into such a politician. She was just a fucking spin machine. And she's like, well, the police are spending, $800 million or whatever it was. And social programs are spending this money and schools are spending this money and on and on. Well, that doesn't mean that you're spending the wrong amount of money on the police. Maybe you're not spending the right amount of money on the other stuff, but people are largely making these choices, right? When you have your local elections on, bonds and bills and all this shit, a lot of these choices are made by the people. There's a few things. I should start taking notes again. There's a few things I wanted to talk
By the
about.
way,
But anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and by the way, whenever there's a bond in Farmington Hills, Michigan, it's never not passed. I don't think so. They're always increasing how much money's go. Right? Like as long as you've lived here, have you ever voted on a bond that hasn't passed?
Not that I'm
Like
aware of.
never. Exactly. Yeah. Whatever. That's what bugs me. But anyway, you were gonna say you should take a note.
So backing up. Well, there's. I went to the BLM website, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And I've been watching more Fox lately, to get their take on it. And MSNBC is so fucking out of control. Everything is there's no news reporting. Everything's an editorial. It's really bad. It's really, really, really bad. Seriously.
Yeah, that was,
I mean, not
no,
that it was
I
objective
get it.
before, but now it's not even close. I mean, the
I love hearing that. It's sad that people don't know that, but yeah.
So anyway, Fox said, well, if you go to the Black Lives Matter website, you're going to see this and this and this and this and just all these, absurd things that I was like, really? And I went there and none of it was on there. I mean, if it was, you had to drill down deeply, and I spent 5 or 10 minutes. In 5 minutes on a website, clicking around, you can generally get to the things that are get-toable. And I didn't see any of that. But what was on there, which is interesting, is a movement for the, fill in the blank, protecting and advancing the rights and progression of, and it was like black people, gay people, trans, disabled people. And I'm like, okay, time the fuck out. Time out.
Because that's your...
Nobody asked me. Get that the fuck off there. And while I'm not like a member, I'm not in the disabled community. I'm a random guy.
Because you're better.
And there are people in chairs that hang out with people in chairs and hang out in forums online and all that, which is highly unhealthy, right? If you're recovering from, I don't know, whatever, some kind of trauma, to be an addict to talking to people, and I think we've talked about this
your trauma.
Just get on with your life. But anyway, hey man, get disability off there.
Yeah.
It ain't me. Or I get to say any fucking thing I want. And they're going to say, well, okay, you're in a wheelchair, but you're still a rich old white guy. Okay, fucking pick one.
Part of the one group, yeah, right.
Pick one.
Or you should actively say, unless any of these people are
right,
rich
with an asterisk. Right.
Right, yeah, it says it at the bottom of the website.
Right, or if you're black and you have multiple generations of college-educated people living in upper middle, if you're a doctor and you speak white, you don't count.
That'd be so funny. They actually put that on there, but yeah, I would be like, at least they're being honest about it. I don't know. That's like a move, like a step in the right direction almost. But
I will bet you, if I had a conversation, they'd be like, you don't count. Fuck you. Okay, wheelchair, you're just another white guy. No. You know what? Again, fucking, these pictures have been here since we started this podcast. One of the things I always wanted to delve into, is advancement of the fucked up situation that a lot of black people find themselves in. And we can talk about that. I should have taken notes. But anyway, I need to back up. So in the black community, what are things that legitimately black people suffer disproportionately? And I would say low income.
Yeah.
And I'm not qualifying these. They're just circumstances. So these are facts. Low income, poor education, lesser opportunity, and while I'm not an expert, I would presume need for better health care. Now, a lot of these things are universal across impoverished communities, regardless of race, but definitely disproportionate to black people in America. Now, the current outrage has been triggered by, and the conversation is around people dying, right? And particularly dying at the hands of white cops. So what's what's the issue? Hopefully it is staying alive, right? So I went back on the internet, and these statistics Washington Post is actually a pretty good place to get statistics. But at cdc.gov, and I brought these up before, and their statistics were even more crazy. So if you want to live, if that's priority number one, the number one, and I think I talked about this last week, but I'm going to talk about it again. Number one cause of death from birth to 13 is homicide by gun, and it's 36%.
Wow.
Infancy to 13
I don't like
years
hearing
old.
that number 13. Yeah.
13.
That's a hard one.
Then 14 to 45, it's 26%. And then
What's the
45
highest
and above,
of
it
the
just
category?
like drops off precipitously. It's unbelievable. It's like number 5. So if you want, okay, and then the statistics on the demographics of the shooter range from 93 to 96.7%. So it's around 95. So 95 out of 100 of these. So if you're likely to die between birth and 45, it's by gun. And there's a 95% chance that it's another black man.
Yeah.
Now, and I read something interesting today, too. So you Pareto these things. We're dying. Why are we dying? Well, because we're shooting each other. Okay. That should be our number one priority. How do we not shoot each other?
That problem, yeah.
Right? And if you Pareto them down, death by cop is way, way, way down there. And that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be addressed and that it's not totally fucked up and egregious. But at some point, you got to get rational. And this is the whole like social justice warrior thing that started 3, 4, 6 years ago, whatever, where it's just, I'm going to shout. I'm not interested in dialogue. I'm not interested in facts and data. I just want to say you're wrong. And if you disagree with me, I'm going to brand you as a racist or a this or a that. Right? So there is no doubt that what I'm talking about now, which is actually the way you should look at change, right? What's the big problem? Let's tackle the big problem first. What's the second biggest problem? Let's tackle that second, or at least concurrently with the second amount of intensity and resource, right? Now I lost my train of thought. But anyway, facts and data, and you start problem solving systemically. So there was a woman, she emigrated from Africa, and I forget what her beef was. Oh, so I just Googled, I'm disabled, please don't speak for me, Black Lives Matter. I was interested to see what came up. And what came up were mostly black people who said, don't speak for me. So this woman was an African immigrant, and she went through all these things on don't speak for me. But here's what was really interesting. She said, she used different words, better words, but she's like, Black Lives Matter is just a reactionary group. They don't implement anything. They just evoke.
Yeah.
She said, they're like, who was it? So-and-so sitting by a police scanner. But anyway, she was like, she took the position, what's going on is nothing new. The problems that have this shitstorm going on are nothing new. I mean, I think a lot of it was stoked by coronavirus and being cooped up and frustrated and, a mini recession depression already taking hold and just like the perfect storm.
Yeah.
But man, oh man. So we talked about this last week. So, hey, this has got everybody's attention. So what are you going to do? Are you going to burn down buildings? You know, when something shitty happens at a Wendy's, you just light the Wendy's on fire and then move on. And next, right? We're just going to sit around, wait for the next egregious act. But the thing is, and I should have brought the laptop. I could have read off, all the shootings every fucking day. Day after day after day after day after day. Just in one city. If you add up all the cities, I mean, these shootings, there's dozens every fucking day. Every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you not kill each other? And then how do you have a better school system, right? How do you educate? Right? So that there's a skill set. So you can live wherever you want, but at least with some income, you have options to maybe move off of the street you grew up on. And then, healthcare. I mean, I don't know what Obamacare does if you're poor. I mean, if you're really poor, you get Medicaid. Medicaid gets you... I had Medicaid when I first got hurt. I had Medicaid for like a year and a half because I wasn't working. I had no income, so I qualified. Fuck, everything was paid for. You go to any doctor, you get any service, you get any prescription. So, but you have to be like supremely poor. So those three things: find a way not to die, improve the education system, and have health care. Like Noah, nobody should be in debt their entire life because they got sick. But nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about what's...
It's because those are real issues, right?
Yeah, and you got to look in the mirror. You got to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
How many times... Well, you don't do what I do. So Channel 2, Fox, local Fox News, has a particular concentration on local news. And they do a pretty good job. And I can't tell you how many times, but it's not 2, and it's not 20, but it's somewhere in between. Where on, July, August, on a Monday, they say, there was a block party Saturday night, and a car pulled up and opened fire on the crowd, and X number of people were hit and X number of people died.
Yeah.
Drive-by shootings. In May, in Detroit, I saw 3 articles, not looking hard, where little kids were shot. 2 of them were killed in drive-bys. I mean, that's fucking egregious. Why is that not news? Why is that not a problem? I don't get it, man.
Yeah. I don't necessarily get it, I don't know if that's the right way to describe. Yeah, I should say I don't get it. I don't know why it's not at least an issue that's being worked on. Maybe it is being worked on, but like how do you really solve that problem, the crime thing? You got to put more people in jail because how's that worked for us? You just eliminate the entirety of the male population, like they're just gone, and then you have these guys who grow up without dads. I don't know if that's necessarily the best answer either.
Yeah, no, serious, complicated problems that require thought and dialogue and facts and data and work, constant work. Not, here's a video of somebody dying in the most egregious way, and then you go out and you fucking pillage, ransack, vandalize. That doesn't accomplish anything. And it fuels the haters. It totally fuels the haters.
Sorry. No, you're right. I know what you mean. But
think of a white
I don't know,
supremacist. You got some white
no, you're right.
supremacists going.
See some bad shit.
There
like
they
that.
go.
Yeah.
Right? There they go.
Right.
All you do is fucking
Yeah.
uparm the bad people to say,
You're just affirming it. Yeah.
yep. So,
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
but people aren't interested in dialogue.
No, and that's tough, and I'm not necessarily in the best position to provide an answer on that, which kind of sucks.
Well,
Yeah, those
you
are the
know
real
why?
issues. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but you know why you're at a loss? Because nobody talks about it
At all? Yeah.
at all. I got no answers, but I spent a few hours gathering data. I knew what I was going to find. But
Yeah.
come on, man. Come on.
Yeah,
People don't want to look in the mirror. People don't want to look in the mirror, right? It's like and this goes across anything, right? The plus size models. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. You must think I'm
Are
beautiful.
you?
My
Yeah,
body's
that's something
beautiful,
I-
and if you say otherwise, you prejudice against fat people. There's people who are attracted to that. There's people who aren't attracted to that. It's a free fucking world.
There's
Right?
websites for it. Go find it. Yeah.
Sorry,
That's the stupidest. I don't know how much traction that ever
I have
got,
body
really, but-
issues. No, you don't. You have a weight issue. Lose some
As someone
fucking
with a
weight,
weight
then you're gonna
issue
like
right
looking at
now.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Last week I even talked about that. How quickly I didn't even have to get like morbidly obese. I don't even think you can really tell from looking at me, but this is over. This is fat. Gotta cut down. Yeah,
How you
want to
doing on that?
buy magazines. Better. I'm working out daily.
Are
Eating
you
less.
eating less?
Yeah.
Eat less, move more.
Yeah.
Or move more, eat
move
less.
more, that's it. Yeah.
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 So, I would love to.
Percentage models.
Right.
Sorry.
I'm beautiful. You must acknowledge that. I get to like what I like.
No. Yeah.
I get to like
I
what
was
I
like
like.
I said, there's websites for that. If you need that, go be one of those fringe weird people who fucking meet people there. But no,
But
I'm not gonna. You can't force me to do it.
I'm beautiful.
And you,
Period.
like you said,
Period.
Yeah.
Really? Interesting.
The people not looking in the mirror has a lot to do with other people being able to say it's actually our fault that we did this too. And then there's a boogeyman, and it's easier to blame that guy than to take the responsibility for yourself. But
Right. The boogeyman. Chasing the ghost. Right? Let's create a ghost. Chase the fucking ghost. And guess what? Ghosts don't talk back because they don't exist.
I ain't afraid of no ghost. Yeah.
Well, ghosts do exist, but that ghost. What's the dinging?
Oh. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's my phone. It's super loud.
That's okay.
I'm just so popular. Okay, let me turn that off.
Chicks are chasing you down.
Yeah, that's all it is.
So I really hope
Find my
find your.
not nothing. Find my ghost. You believe in ghosts. I forget that. Yeah.
I believe in ghosts. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. The disabled. Get me off that website, please. Please, please, please.
We could really, really blow shit up, I think. You have to find a black person to do it with you instead of me, but you could be like, Chris does not want us to be speaking for him. And
I don't want anybody speaking
get an
for
interview
me.
with Fox News. Yeah. Right.
I don't want
right, that's the
anybody
point.
speaking
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Off
and if you do,
match.
you'll make it known. Yeah. Yeah.
Off match. Somebody, so some woman sent me I liked your profile, blah, blah,
Nice.
blah, something, something in a wheelchair. Something, something about the wheelchair. And then I replied, and she's like, blah, 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 God has a plan. And I replied to her, I make my own plans and leave God out of it. And she had no idea how to respond.
Did she even respond anything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because people who
God
think
has a
like that,
plan.
and I was gonna say women. I was gonna say women, but I bit my tongue because men do this too. God thing does not
God has a
hold
plan.
any water. I don't know.
I loved
That's-
my response.
yeah,
It
what?
just and it totally came off really quickly.
Leave him
I
out of
make
it.
my own plans.
I think that's a good way to look at it, and people should recognize that. It's the same reason. What it's the whole Christian religion is that thing where you're born with original sin. So right there, it's like already not your fault, right? It's like you're born already like fucked up. I don't know. That's yeah. So don't look in the mirror. It's this other thing.
Right, Jesus died for my sins. How many fucking people have died, Christian or not, between when Jesus died and now? That's a lot of people he died for. I have trouble with that math.
Quite a bit.
I have
Quite-
trouble
quite
with
a
that
bit, yeah.
math.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh my
No,
God.
that's yeah. And there's that thinking in that mind where it's like oh, everything's okay because it's that guy says it's fine. You're like, no, I say it's fine, and I'm gonna do something about it because he's not helping me. But yeah, and there's that thinking that that was my point was that people who think like that, it's very hard to, yeah. I don't know, it's a weird thing. Whenever someone says that to me, I always go, yeah. So I don't want to argue with them and be like, you're fucking wrong. Like you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they're right. Whatever. Perception's reality, right? Maybe we're wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe we're wrong.
Jesus, I hope not. Knock on wood. That'll be an awkward eternity in hell.
Or purgatory or whatever it is.
Yeah. Probably going to hell at this point. At least I didn't burn down a Wendy's. I'll tell you that much.
Or
Not
anything.
yet.
Have you ever burned down a
nothing,
structure?
Technically, yeah. No, only campfires. Yeah.
Right. Harmless
There was
fires,
that
I
orphanage
think.
that one time, but that was just one thing. Other than the orphanage, never.
Uh-oh.
No.
Truth comes out.
Never was a pyro. Yeah, truth comes out. Yeah, never was into that shit. What about you? You ever burn anything down?
No. We
you did
we had
think
a
about
summer or two where we used to like to light fires. We'd like take a Campbell soup can and fill it with gas, from our dad's like lawnmower gas can, and we'd go and like
Yeah.
the big thing was we would light it was called the creek. We had a little stream that went through the neighborhood I grew up in. Huge development. And we would pour gas on the creek and light it on fire. And, so it would burn on top of the water and it would go down, as the stream slowly went. And we were just totally intrigued by that. Let's light the creek on fire.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah.
Fire on water, man.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was a great neighborhood to grow up in.
Yeah, I had a good one here too. This one was solid. We didn't do that. We didn't burn any fish or whatever. Didn't burn any water, but it was good stuff.
What were the
Anyway.
other things? I should have written this shit down. There's a lot to talk about right now. There's just so much going on. There's so much going
Just
on.
love the idea of Chaz.
Really?
If you want me,
There was-
we can jump to an 8-ball question.
There was a Family Guy. Did you see the Family Guy? Where he annexed
No.
himself, or just his
Oh
house
yeah,
and
yeah,
his
I
lot?
did see that. Peterland or whatever. Yeah,
Pretoria, I think is what it was called.
something like that. Yeah, Pretoria. Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Praetorians or something else. But yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
that
think
was funny.
eventually
He,
they brought
like,
a tank in.
Yeah. Yeah, and he like invaded Quagmire's pool or something like that. Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
Like expanding out, right? And they bring in a tank, and yeah.
All right. It's your turn for an 8-ball question.
Oh, I guess. Geez, what should I ask it about?
I don't know.
Is the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone just the start of something much, much bigger?
Ooh.
Reply hazy, try again. Oh, fuck. Is is Chaz, aka the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, going to expand quickly? That's a terrible question. Jesus Christ. Very doubtful. Okay, so at least we got our answer. Very doubtful.
I'm just wondering how long it lasts
Uh-huh.
and what the hinge pin is
I'd
for
be surprised if it was
when
still
it
going
when it
tomorrow.
falls. Again, they're playing house. It's funny. I was thinking like, it's like a little kid who plays house. Mommy, Daddy, I'm ready for my own house. Well, how do you say that? Because I played house. So did you pay the mortgage? Did you pay the utilities? Did you go out and work? Did you buy the food that was in the fridge that you
Mortgage.
ate? Right? We had utilities and food and all that. So, I mean, stop collecting garbage. Take the porta potties away. Just let the filth and the refuse build. And what'll happen?
It'll just get, yeah. They'll just put it outside of Chaz. They'll just put it outside the barricades.
Then you just push it back in. You're autonomous, man.
You're just like, fuck you, dude. Yeah.
And the ironic thing is, it's got borders.
Yeah, that's.
It has borders.
Um,
It's probably filled with
I don't know
people
if
who are
they
opposed to
are
borders.
recognizing their borders. Yeah. Probably like.
No, there's a sign like you're entering the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Blah blah blah.
Entering Chaz. Yeah. Yeah. I saw that.
I don't know. This is a fucked up time. I will tell you that
and
there
all
are
that
people.
happened was that one dude got killed.
Yeah. Well, straw that broke the camel's back, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what some people are saying. Who said that? I forget. Somebody who I have some respect for. I forget who it was. But again, if you want to solve problems, you got to identify the problems. Then you got to implement things that actually solve the problems. Screaming and kicking and burning and vandalizing and stealing and that all that does is exacerbate the whole thing and diminish support. What if there had been nothing but massive peaceful protests? And maybe some things that like interrupted daily life. Like if you marched down, like one of the things in Atlanta last night, they marched down the I-75, I-85 freeway. So it totally disrupted traffic. There's a lot of things you can do to get people's attention without lighting shit on fire or breaking things.
Yeah.
What if this at all was even bigger, but way more peaceful?
And not destructive. Yeah.
Would it be more powerful? Would it have more attention? And the crazy thing is that,
Remember the. Sorry.
It's just like, again, it's, like Flame, Squirrel. They show the sensational parts of the videos. I'd like to see all the footage, how they handled that guy. Were they nice to him? Did they go up and like, hey, are you okay? Wake up. Hey, man, we got to move you. And in a highly sensitized time, did they really need to even arrest the guy? Just get him home. Just get the dude home.
That's even a better call because you're like, all right, so this could end in one of two
And it's
ways.
Atlanta. It's fucking Atlanta.
Yeah.
The protest capital of the United States. Just get the dude home.
You remember?
Protect and serve.
You remember the? Fucking shoot me in the back. Protect your ass. You remember the Million Woman March when Trump got elected?
I do. Yes.
I will say that is what peaceful protesting looks like, right? I don't know if that was technically like a parade, but they didn't fucking burn anything down, right? I
Yeah.
think that's what that looks like. It's easy.
Here's what's interesting. So I forgot about that. There's no way I'm ever going to forget about the last 3 weeks. Ever. Till I die. Then
Yeah.
do we take our memories with us? I don't know. Have to ask Gabriel. There was some joke. Some religious guy made a joke, and I was like, I didn't think it was a joke at first. I thought like he was actually talking about, is it Gabriel or St. Peter? Whoever's supposed to be at Heaven's Gate.
St. Peter's Gate.
So there's, a couple guys are in line at Heaven's Gate, and St. Peter's got the list, and one of them's a minister, and one of them is a cab driver, and so the cab driver walks up, and St. Peter says, "Yep, here you are, check." Hands him like this gold scepter, and says, "Enjoy heaven." Then this minister comes up, and this joke isn't that funny, but it was at the time because of the context. So the minister comes up and he's like, "Yep, check, here you are on the list," and he hands him a wooden scepter, and he goes, "Wait a minute, that guy's a cab driver, and I'm a minister. I spent the better part of my life preaching and trying to make lives better." And St. Peter says, "Yeah, and all you did was put people to sleep. That cab driver had people praying for their lives every day."
That's kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it's clever.
That is
It's clever. The context made it really funny. Because when he said,
there's also
like,
a few levels to that, but yeah.
yeah, because when this guy started talking about a list at St. Peter's Gate, I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, you think that's the way it works? How fucked up is this? Anyway, but then it was a joke, and I was
What if
like,
it
oh,
did? Yeah.
little self-deprecation. I appreciated it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I don't know, man. These last 3 weeks have been wild. It doesn't help that I was like crazy sick last week.
You feeling better?
I got a coronavirus test. I got tested for it. Yeah, I actually do feel better. But
Did it come back
I'm
negative?
excited for the results of that test. I didn't even get the results yet.
You don't have it.
I don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if anything comes. It's whether or not people want to talk. And generally people don't want to talk because then they have to face facts. Again,
Or they have to
and
think. Yeah.
I'd love to be part of those conversations. Right? Stop killing each other. So here's something that came into my mind. And I would have told you with total certainty a month or two ago that this is fine. But then I was like, is it fine? So there's the Detroit public school system. There's, I don't know if it's Birmingham or Bloomfield, Birmingham. So like Lasser is a great, great high school. You get a good education at a public school. And the property taxes, the rate is higher and the homes are more expensive. Right? So that's largely how. So there's federal money. I don't know what kind of state money, and then local funds. So in wealthy areas, Grosse Pointe school systems are good. Farmington public school system used to be good. That's my understanding. They're not what they were. But anyway, so if it's a public school system and you live in Detroit or the south side of Chicago or whatever, and your school systems suck, or you live in Grosse Pointe or Evanston or Malibu or whatever, and your school systems are awesome. Is that the right way? Should public school systems, should there be that kind of disparity? Because essentially what you really have are kind of private school systems. You live in these borders, you go to these schools, and the money is paid for by the people within those borders.
Yeah. it's its own thing. That's why your locality, people say, hey, that's the stuff that happens in your local government. That's what really affects you. It's not who the president is. It's what are they doing with the streets and what's
Right.
getting done in the classrooms. But no, you're right. It's basically its own little private thing. But
So is
I would
that
say,
okay?
yeah, it should work like that. Yeah, I think it is. If people are gonna vote with their feet, you can never stop that. And unless you're gonna like
Yeah, but
spread
if
out
you're a kid,
everybody's money equally,
if you're a kid and you're born to a
Yeah.
crack mom in, the most
That's-
crime fraught, gang ridden block in America, you can't get a good education. There's no money for private school, and you're destined for, you're going nowhere. You're fucked.
I think the crack.
And the statistical
babies
likelihood
less-
is that you're black. You're fucked. You are fucked.
Yeah.
So,
I
I don't know. I don't know how the voucher system is supposed to work, but allegedly, if there were a voucher system, you can take your voucher, you can go wherever you want.
Go wherever you want. Yeah.
And here's what's ironic.
And the
I
best
didn't know
schools would be
this.
the best school.
Yeah. And there are some number of students that any school wants to take, because if you're operating at 95% capacity and you get money for that last 5, it's gravy, right? The marginal cost is 0.
Yeah.
It's free money. So that every public school system is going to be willing to take some level of vouchers. And what I didn't know, I just learned this over the weekend doing, my random research. You wind up going down rabbit holes or off on tangents, is that Democrats are opposed to vouchers, and Republicans generally, if they're supported by conservatives, which I would have thought exactly the opposite.
You didn't know that?
I did not know
Oh,
that.
no. It's because you're decentralizing the power of the state. Is why it's like that.
So that's highly counterintuitive to me. It seems like,
It's not to me. But
Democrats or liberals would say that if
You're
you
thinking
live
at
in
it from that
Detroit, you should
standpoint.
be able to go to school in Birmingham
Yeah.
or Farmington or Northville. Right? Let's spread the privilege. Let's let
That's-
this work.
That's because you're thinking about it from an actual principled point of view. Whereas I think most Democrats don't necessarily think like that. And Republicans are thinking from the same principles. They're just different points of view. Like, I think the Democrats are more in favor of just having the power, like, at the state level, or at the, I mean at the government level, not necessarily at, you don't want to put the power in the hands of the people always. That's why that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
to me.
somebody brought this
Whereas
up
you're
too.
thinking of it as a principle.
Right. Somebody brought this up too, which is for like 20 or 30 years, the rate at which the black community has voted Democrat is like over 90%. And it's like, so, and in the last 20 or 30 years, I think things have gotten better, but the perception is things have gotten worse. And again, it just gets down to these fucking things just sensationalize fucking everything. But what was I going to say? Oh, so Democrats are like, I didn't used to think this so much. But a Democrat, here's a good one. A Democrat wants to give you a fish, or a liberal wants to give you a fish. A conservative
Republican
wants to
teach
teach you how to fish.
Yeah.
The problem is,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Where'd you get
people
all the
who just
fish?
say, you know what? They're just sitting there and they're like, just give me the fish. Just give me the fish. And then the fish is gone. And they're like,
yeah.
and then the fish is gone and they're like, okay, I want another fish. There's not a limitless supply
I'll
of
take
fish.
my second fish.
Right?
Yeah.
Sorry, can't have it. Well, wait a
That's-
minute. Why not? What the fuck's wrong with this picture? Give me another fish. Now here's a fishing pole. Fuck you.
I have plenty of fishing poles, dude. You could have made one on your own too, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the crux. of
So
it.
we'll give you money. We'll give you money. We want to teach you how to have a skill so you can earn your own money. And maybe you earn more and more and more. And maybe you feel good
You mean
about
work?
it. And maybe life,
I have to actually work and make money out of this.
yeah, maybe life feels more purposeful because you're doing something for yourself. That's why I think UBI, I laid this out a long time ago before all this shit happened. Back when we started the show and we were talking about social justice warriors in UBI. And you remember I laid it out. I said, let's say 60 grand's the number. And one guy chooses an apartment, another guy chooses a car, another guy chooses to go out and be, a big shot at the bar. And all of them are dissatisfied with, the guy with the big house just sees the guy with the car who lives in a shack. The guy with the car sees the guy buying all the women drinks and getting laid every Saturday, but he's like, but I got the car. But the guy buying the drinks, I need more money, right? Because you presume everybody's got everything you have, and,
I'm going to shoot that guy.
and this gets back to, I never connected the dots. I just connected the dots. This gets to, I'm not worried about what I have. I'm worried about what you have. It's not that I don't have enough. It's that you have too much.
That's the fucking Iron Lady quote. Iron Maiden. What is it?
Ian
Meryl
Rand?
Streep played Margaret Thatcher. They would rather the poor be poorer so long as the rich are less rich.
You're right. Very
Yep.
nicely done. I heard that in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, rather the poor be poorer so long as the rich are less rich. So you'd rather have everybody have a small house than two people have a medium house and one person has a big house. It's like, yeah, that's what's fucked up. Yeah.
Don't take Jeff Bezos away from me. I got a Sunday delivery. Love that guy.
I have a delivery on the 19th.
Well, I don't know the guy. Love the company.
Could be a better guy. Yeah. Anyway.
Is he not such a good guy? I know nothing about him. I know about
I think
his
he cheated
past.
on his wife, but I don't know how terrible that makes you as a person, so.
That's not so good. That's not so good. Especially if you believe in God and you go into church and you spout off this huge ass fucking promise. Right?
Yeah.
Love, honor, and obey.
Yeah.
It's not very loving.
Say that
It's not honorable, and you're certainly not obeying.
As long as there's some kind of a pre-arranged situation, yeah. Anyway.
Anyway. How we doing on time?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. It's 6:45.
Well, that puts us at an hour, yeah.
Wow, that flew by. We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of... What did you ask the 8-Ball? And what was the answer? Oh, if
It
Chaz
said
is
very
going to
doubtful, and
continue.
I said, Chaz is going to expand rapidly. It said very doubtful. That's not a no. That's a very doubtful, they're saying.
Very
The 8-Ball's
doubtful.
predicting.
Yeah,
the
the
answer
8-Ball...
in
I
this
like the
situation.
answer the 8-Ball's given us.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we?
Yeah. Yeah, let's shall.
Let's shall. It was a good show. We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. And black people, Black Lives Matter, sorry, organization, not a race of people, should not speak for my friend Chris. God damn it.
Right. All lives matter,
I miss
including black.
I miss
Yeah, don't-
the days of the show where I would end it on something incendiary. We should do that more often. Anyway.
Well, this show is potentially incendiary.
Well, you just said all lives matter, so it is. You just made it incendiary.
Well, you know the sad thing about the phrase Black Lives Matter? It suggests that I think there's a reasonable
You
inference
assume
that
they don't.
right. It's kind of sad. It's kind of not a good. Of course, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Right? Fucking dogs' lives matter. All lives matter.
Yeah.
It's sketchy.
I think
Whatever.
we should end it there. Yeah. You're right.
Let's end it here. Please don't speak for me. Please don't speak for me.
Otherwise, all lives matter. That's what you're
All
saying
lives
right here.
matter.
Yeah.
ALM. And a human life's a human life, and they're all worthwhile. Unless you're a fucking sociopath, in
Man's
which
a man.
case, die sociopath.
We don't
How's that
want you
for an
here.
ending? Die, Navin R.
I
Johnson.
like it.
Random bastard.
Wow, what? Yes. No, run of the mill son of a bitch.
Run of the mill
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It starts
That
out,
was it, yeah.
die, Navin R. Johnson, typical bastard. And then he goes, Navin R.
No,
Johnson,
Navin R.
run of the
Johnson.
mill son of a bitch.
Mill son of a... Other way around. Navin R. Johnson, typical bastard. Die, run of the mill son of a bitch.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Sorry, I think that's
Yeah.
it.
Okay. And, here's what we're going to end it on. Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey.
Don't trust.
See a
Whitey.
doctor and get rid of it.
See a doctor. Get rid of it.
Bam.
That's-
And we
Bam.
are out. Cue music.
Still here. Charlie Show.
Cue music. Wait a minute. I will
Cue.
slow on the
Cue,
draw.
cue,
And bam. We're gone. Later, people. This was really meant to be productive. Bye-bye.